Hello lovelies, and welcome back to Squeaky's Cauldron, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm your host, Sarah Evergreen. Thank you for taking a little bit of your time to come hang out in my weird, witchy corner of the internet. Today we're going to be talking about astral travel, astral projection, all the good astral stuff. This episode, in preparation for it, took me to some places that I did not anticipate, which is probably why you're interested in astral travel in the first place. So, perfect. Before we dive in, if you're enjoying these videos, please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, if you're interested in working with me, do check out the link in the description for more information about my coaching services. Okay, now on to the show. So what is astral travel or astral projection? At its very basics, astral projection is taking essentially your soul out of your body and moving it on the astral plane. That is something beyond the physical plane that we have. Now, there are a few keys to this that distinguish it from like dreaming or out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences. For one, astral projection is voluntary. Now, with out-of-body experiences and dreaming, this happens generally involuntarily. It's something that just kind of rises up out of the situation. And there are people who say that they astral project and astral travel in dreaming, but for me, that doesn't feel quite the same as what I want to talk about here. So if you are astrally projecting or lucid dreaming too, it gets to be this kind of web. That's the thing that I really experienced while I was preparing for this episode, is that honestly there's no super duper clear cut delineation between lucid dreaming and astral travel and just dreaming in general. So for our purposes, astral travel is voluntary and it is moving your consciousness out of your body to travel in a different realm. None of us, I think, really truly have language to describe these things because we are humans in human bodies with human minds and human language, and that's what we have to work with. So we'll go forward in this adventure together with this general understanding of what astral projection is. Astral travel has a lot of different benefits associated with it. You get a lot of the same benefits that you'd get from just kind of regular meditation, reduced cortisol, increased focus, increased creativity, this kind of thing. But you also get more of an opportunity, I think, to directly get messages from your spirit guides or from the other side, or be able to get a peek beyond the veil, so to speak, because you are so very intentionally putting yourself into a place that is beyond. I've been working on this episode for a couple of weeks now, reading about astral projection and watching videos and, most importantly, practicing astral projection. A few things happened. One, a number of the meditations that I didn't really do anything for me at first. On my third astral travel meditation, I detached from my body, climbed up a rope through the ceiling, and what she described was when you go through the ceiling, I think, she wasn't super clear, but when you go through the ceiling, you see then maybe the apartment right above. But what I saw was this hole open up in the ceiling and this kind of celestial, galactic kind of place above me. So I climbed up through that and I was like looking around in there, and Lilith and Michael came to be with me. I called them because I felt like I wanted protection and also as a kind of guide. So I've been having these really intense dreams lately about the house that I grew up in and about my family of origin. It's something that's felt like it's being pushed into a birthing place. Something's coming through. So I asked them, tell me more about what's going on here. And they took me back to the house that I grew up in. And I proceeded to tour the entire house. There was no one else in the house, but there were like memories, snatches of memories. But I did interact with the physical things. The one that stands out to me most, strangely, is this couch that my parents made out of 2x4s and old car upholstery. Not old, it was new. As many of you know, my childhood, my upbringing was troubled, and going through this house felt very intense and very, very scary, especially at first. But I knew that I had Michael and Lilith with me, and they told me that it was okay and that I could leave whenever I wanted to. And that really helped, like, ground me in the safety of the moment. And I was able to go through all of these different rooms where I used to live, where my parents were, my brothers, all of this. And it brought up some questions that I hadn't thought to ask before. This was not an experience that I anticipated having by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I was thinking astral travel. Okay, I can maybe I'll travel around and see what's happening on this physical realm, or maybe I'll go to like the upper world and talk to angels or whatever. But to have myself transported back to this house, well, let's just say that I think this practice of astral travel can bring you things that you were not anticipating, could not have expected, and that you absolutely need. I did mention dreams earlier. I'm very curious if any of you have had lucid dreams or you have experiences with this. If you have, please drop a comment below. Let me know. That's a very interesting aspect of kind of astral travel that I'm curious about, but haven't had any personal experience with. But like I mentioned earlier, is not strictly under the umbrella that I'm talking about. What I do want to cover is the other ways of astral travel. So first, the specific meditation. So what they generally involve is some kind of trance-inducing meditation music. So this can be something at a particular frequency, or maybe binaural beats. Love the binaural beats. Something that is going to activate the alpha state of brain, like I've talked about in the meditation episode. And along with that, it'll generally have very specific steps. First, relaxation, then moving your soul out of your body and moving into whatever realm that you're going to be exploring. There's often like a visualization of a cord attaching your soul to your body. And like I said, I had really mixed results with those particular kinds of meditation. And maybe if I continue to work with that specific approach, that those experiences will kind of compound on each other and I'll get better at it. Maybe not. I have had astral experiences in other kinds of meditations, though. One of which that comes to mind is working with Cindy Brannon. She was doing a group ritual, it was all online, and she led us through a meditation where we stepped into our astral bodies, which were kind of animistic, and then walked along the celestial path to Hecate's temple. And this did feel very strong, and I got some very good things out of it. Not sure if it's astral travel. Not 100% sure. Another experience I had, though, I was meditating, and it was just a normal, I was sitting. It wasn't a special day or anything. I didn't have anything particularly on my mind. I was just sitting. And Hecate came down and grabbed my hand and pulled me out of my body into her garden. And at that point, I got a very clear message that I needed to come to England. That one I would definitely categorize as astral projection. because I literally felt myself move out of my body. However, it wasn't entirely voluntary. So again, we get into this gray area of what is and what isn't. And maybe that's not such an important question to be asking, actually. And it's more about the experience that we're having. And that's the important thing, what comes through. One practice that I have been using for years and has been really successful for me in terms of getting messages, exploring other realms, other levels of consciousness is shamanic journeying. Now, this practice is rooted or maybe grounded in utilizing drums at a particular rate. That brings the mind into a trance state, like really quickly, especially if you have used it for quite some time, because the brain gets trained to go into that place. And from here, there's specific steps to it. Ooh, I can feel myself like getting into this particular subject. My body is moving. From here, you envision a place in nature that you've been before, something that you connect with, that you feel safe in, and you go to a tree or a lake or a hole in the ground or something, and from that point you enter into whatever this thing is. So say it's a tree. Mine is usually a tree, and there's a big knot in the tree at the base of the tree, and I will press up against the knot, state my intention, where I'm going, whether it's the lower world, the middle world, or the upper world, because in shamanic journeying, you go to one of these three places. I'll state my intention, I'll press against the knot until I move into the tree. And from there, usually I'm going to the lower world. From there, I will descend through the roots of the tree, down, 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 allowing myself to be taken to that lower world. And when I get to the bottom, there's another membrane. So again, I will have to push my way through. And I'll usually tumble out into this path of kind of dry dirt. And from there, I go on and explore the lower world and work with my guides and do all the things that you'd want to do when you're on a journey. I've been practicing that for years now. I initially did some training with Christina Lee Pratt of the Last Mask Center. That's what it is. I'll link that in the show notes too. So if you are interested in jumping into working with astral projection and swimming around in this space, I have a few suggestions, some tips. First, find a meditation that has a callback with it. I think this is super important, and I think a lot of them don't for some reason. It'll be the person who's leading the meditation, guiding the meditation. They'll say something like, it's time to come back into your body and bring you gently back into yourself. The one that I used where I went and visited my childhood home that was super intense did not have a callback. And I ended up moving back into my body while listening to an ad for an antibacterial company. Not the greatest, but upon reflection, maybe kind of apropos. Do this practice when you're in a relaxed state, maybe after some restorative yoga or a long bath or a nice massage. Something that really helps your nervous system just kind of calm down. It'll help you get into the space of travel much easier because you want your body to not be sending you a lot of signals, You can also drink some kind of soporific tea, like a sleepy time tea, or brew up your own extra witchy tea with a little bit of valerian, mugwort, and wormwood. Note of caution, absolutely not for women who are pregnant at all. Just don't. These herbs, they're known for helping to bring through intense visions. Of course, record. Oh my God, please record your experiences. You don't want to be analyzing stuff while you're in the experience, while you're in meditation. Knowing that you're gonna record after, that maybe you'll take a voice note or you'll write in your journal, can help you just have the experience and let it do its thing. Also, when you record, you'll have something to refer back to. And then when you're done, drink some water, eat some dark chocolate, or maybe something with whole grains, something that's really grounding so that you can fully come back into your body, because you will have just gone through a pretty intense experience. Even just meditating for that long, like being in one spot and allowing your brain and body and soul to do what it's going to do, even if you don't get into some other realm, like having that kind of nourishment and sustenance and, oh, I am a physical being here, can be very helpful in just getting you back into your life so that you can move forward and not be all up here and kind of disjointed. We don't want that, especially if you're going to be driving. If you're ready to try out astral projection for yourself, click the video below. If you're interested in learning more about meditation in general, click this other video. And yeah, if you're interested in working with me, check out the link below for my coaching offers. Until next time, my lovelies, take care of yourselves, and as always, use your voice.